Hey, Shalom Israel. Yeah, how about Shem Yahweh brother thumb to the brothers? Shalom Yahweh Shema Alathun. By Shem Yahweh to the sisters. We're at ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been teaching the truth according to the Bible. What is that truth? Truth is so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, descend from the greatest people on the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You understand? In 2023, there's nothing more important than so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans learning their true identity according to the Bible. You know what I mean? Because with that identity, you know what I mean, we take our culture back. You know what I'm saying? And with that identity, um, we can shed ourselves of the world, and we can, you know what I'm saying, live our lives as priests and prophets, you know what I mean, and rulers of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Princesses and daughters of Zion. You get what I'm saying? That's what the Lord wanted for us. That's what the Lord still wants for us. You know what I mean? And in order for us to obtain those things, you know what I mean, we have to come back to these law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that we can be the nation of people that the Lord will be proud of. You get what I'm saying? And so, if y'all can like and share the class and let everybody know we live. You know what I mean? Preaching Officer Shabal coming to you live from Las Vegas, where we have class every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in the Las Vegas area. You know what I'm saying? Tuesday is the Brotherhood class, Wednesday is the Biblical Law class, and Thursday is the Scripture Breakdown class. All right. Um, if y'all can bear with me real quick while I share the class around as well. You know what I'm saying? I ask brothers and sisters to do the same. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. Lord allow, I'll be able to answer your question tonight. If not, I will write your question down, and Lord allow, I'll have the answer or the breakdown to your question um, in next week's class. All right. Um, I missed last week's class, but it seemed like it's been a long time. You know what I'm saying? Since I've been in front of y'all, been able to, drop this truth. You know what I mean? Um, but again, we in hell. You know what I mean? And these slaveries is proof that, or one of the many examples that we can use to prove that we are truly in hell. You know what I mean? Um, just getting up and having to punch a time clock at various times of the day and clocking out at various times of the day and, working double shifts and overtime and all these things, you know, just to barely get by. You know what I mean? That's oppression. You see what I'm saying? That's hell. You get what I'm saying? And the thing about that is that, you know, when that whole thing happened with the submarine, that's all everybody wanted to talk about. You get my point? All anybody wanted to talk about, you know what I'm saying, was that damn submarine and them cats drowning down in that submarine, right? And for whatever reason, well, it ain't for whatever reason. We know exactly what the reason is, right? But the thing about it is that right there was more important than anything on the face of the earth. That these millionaires, I believe billionaires, if I'm not mistaken, right? But either way, these heathens with all this money made the decision to get in this submarine and go underwater on their own. This wasn't something that they was forced to do. This is something that they chose to do. You understand what I'm saying? And we supposed to have sympathy for them. These cats have the money that no matter how hard we work, we won't get close to that kind of money. And to the oppressor, money is it's like a toy to them. It's not really a big deal. You know what I mean? This is why they spend $250,000. You know what I'm saying, to get on a boat. You know, this is why they throw away all this money, because it's disposable to them. It's nothing to them. You understand what I'm saying? Meanwhile, $250,000 to a black man or a black woman. When I say black man or black woman, I'm talking about all 12 tribes. $250,000 to us is life changing. You know what I mean? No, 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 we won't be set for life. You know what I mean? But it'll damn sure take some of these burdens away. You see what I'm saying? It'll damn sure lift some of this weight up off our shoulders. You get what I'm saying? But meanwhile, they wipe their ass with $250,000. It's nothing to them. You get what I'm saying? And they want us to feel bad for them, right? But meanwhile, let me show y'all this real quick, right? Let me show y'all this real quick. Right. In the meantime, you know what I mean, if you have any questions or comments, you can go and type them in the chat. Again, it's like I didn't finish the intro. You know what I'm saying? You can find us on Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. You can find us on YouTube, ISUPK Nevada. And you can find us on TikTok as well. All right. ISUPK Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? If everybody could, please like, share, and subscribe to these many platforms coming out of One West 125th Street. You know what I mean? When I ask this every week, I'm not just talking about Vegas. You know what I mean? I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the class that are coming out of California, that are coming out of Arizona. You know what I mean? That are coming out of Killeen, Texas. You know what I mean? That are coming out of Houston, Texas, Washington D.C. I can go on and on and on. You get what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe, man. Support this truth. You know what I mean? You liking and sharing these classes is how we spread this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. You know what I mean? I believe it's James 1:1 that said, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, shalom. You get my point? So we have to get this truth out to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. So those brothers and sisters that's in Puerto Rico, those brothers and sisters that are in Cuba, you get what I'm saying? Those brothers and sisters that are in Mexico, you get what I'm saying? In the Dominican Republic, you know what I'm saying? The brothers and sisters that's in Jamaica, Trinidad. You understand? Y'all get the point. You know what I mean? So this is why we ask y'all to like and share and subscribe to these different platforms. You know what I mean? We don't we when we teach these classes, we ain't looking for no shine. You know what I'm saying? We the only shine that we looking to provide is shining light on this truth, not shining light on ourselves. Because this is bigger than us. You know what I mean? This is bigger than being on YouTube or being on Facebook. You understand what I'm saying? This is all about, you know what I'm saying, being the men that the Lord has called us to be and doing the work that we signed up for. You know what I'm saying? This right here is the work. You know what I'm saying? When I hit that time clock in a few hours, you know what I'm saying? That's my slavery. You get what I'm saying? That's the slavery right there. This right here, this is the job. You get my point? So y'all bear with me. Let me find this real quick. And I'm sure y'all have seen this already because I actually got this last week. Um, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to teach the class last week, right? So I'm just trying to find this picture real quick. Y'all bear with me, all right? 1 second. Let me see. Bear with me, y'all. Let me find it real quick. I think I might have passed it. Y'all hold on. Damn. Let me see. Sorry, y'all. I had it written down and everything, so I can go right to it. And all of a sudden, I'm having a hard time finding it. So, sorry, y'all bear with me. All right, let me pull this up real quick. But again, um, coming back to these law, statutes, and commandments, man, is what'll free us from the oppression. You know what I mean? We'll still have to work our slaveries, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay though, because um us being righteous and being the men and women that the Lord has called us to be, you know what I'm saying? There's something that's in store for us that's greater than $250,000, greater than the submarine ride. You get my point, or anything like that, right? So the pictures I want to grab for y'all is courtesy of the Shade Room, right? I don't have Instagram, so I'm not able to pull up the whole thing. But I just want to know if y'all can see this. Y'all probably already seen this already, but I'll read it. I'll hold it up here for a couple seconds and I'll read it for y'all. All right. This right here got little to no coverage. This got very little attention, right? Can anybody tell me why this right here got very little attention? And before, let me read it, and then I'll ask y'all the question again. Missing Titanic submersible grabs the world's attention just days after ship holding over 700 migrants sinks in Greek waters. Right? So now the whole looking for the Titanic and $250,000 a head and all that, that got all the news, that got all the headlines. It's probably still on the news as we speak, right? Why does very few people know about the ship holding the 700 migrants? Why is it that little to no people know about that? But yet everybody knows about the submersive. Who can tell me why? That's exactly why. Because it didn't have anything to do with the oppressors. You see what I'm saying? It said migrants. That's why it got very little attention. That's why it got very little coverage. You get my point? It got very little coverage and very little attention because it was 700 migrants. So understand this, for those that say God loves everybody, and for those that believe in that Christian doctrine, you know what I mean, that love thy neighbor as thyself means to love these other nations. The lives of 4 oppressors superseded the lives of 700 migrants. I believe so. Again, I wasn't able to read the article because I seen it on the Shade Room, and I don't have Instagram. You know what I mean? But I'm almost sure that those migrants are of the 12 tribes. But if they're not, right, let's just say that they're not, and they're of any nation that is not Esau, that will also let you know, or that'll show these other nations that want to join hand in hand with the oppressor, that the oppressor don't give a damn about you either. He just gives a damn about us even lesser. You see what I'm saying? So for as much disdain that he has for the other nations, he has even more disdain for the 12 tribes of Israel. You see what I'm saying? But now, if those migrants are of the 12 tribes, again, 4 is greater than 700. 4 is more important than 700. Now, mind you, again, we're going to go with the premise that these are Israel, right? We're going to go with that premise, right? Think about the fact that 700 of them had to cram onto one ship. Meanwhile, these 4 multi-millionaires, you know what I'm saying, was able to get in submersive, pay $250,000 and it's nothing. Now, if those 700 migrants were of the 12 tribes, how life-changing would that $250,000 be for them? You get my point? And that's the thing. So what's important to take away from this is whether they are of Israel or not, Esau, in their minds and in this empire, Esau supersedes everything and everybody. You get my point? This is the whole point of it. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why you know that is because there's dozens of young girls missing in the DC area. And the majority of those girls are of the 12 tribes of Israel. But when one heathen girl goes missing, there's alerts all over the place, whether it's social media, whether it's billboards on the side of the freeway, infomercials, they go all out. Now, I'm not saying that it's okay for heathens to come up missing. No kid should be missing at all. But what I'm saying is that one supersedes the dozens. Because if you are not of Esau, you are irrelevant in their mind and in this kingdom. And this is why, you see what I'm saying, we should not be looking to join hand in hand with them and be so quick to look to forgive a nation of people that's never asked for your forgiveness in the first place. You get what I'm saying? And so this is one example of why the truth is so important. Because again, if those migrants are of the 12 tribes, you know what I'm saying? We feel bad for those brothers and those sisters and those kids if there was any kids on that ship. We're the only ones that's gonna care. We're the only ones that care about Joy Morgan and Ahmaud Arbery. You get what I'm saying? We're the only ones that care about Oscar Grant. Yeah, that's an excellent point. The sister said Esau will always describe their people by their nations. All others will be called migrants. You're absolutely correct. You see what I'm saying? And like the sister said, Esau is the top priority. Esau will always be the top priority, always. Everybody else is irrelevant. You get what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to use that as an example, right? Because again, these weren't even Negroes, and they didn't even talk about them. Why? Because the 4 millionaires is greater than the 700 poor people. You get what I'm saying? That's the mindset of your oppressor. This is the mindset of that man that you insist on loving and wanting to forgive and join hand in hand with. You get what I'm saying? The reason why the truth is so important is because, and General Muhammad went over it earlier, right? General Muhammad went over it earlier with the whole thing with Clarence Thomas, right? This is why the truth is so important, because if Clarence Thomas had the truth, right, Clarence Thomas would not be shooting down the affirmative action bill, right? But because Clarence Thomas is a respecter of persons, and because Clarence Thomas has been taught to hate himself, Clarence Thomas hates anyone that looks, sounds, or acts like him. And you would think that Clarence Thomas would have an ounce of compassion in him, because back in the 90s, I don't know how many of y'all remember this, but back in the late 90s, Clarence Thomas was a laughing stock. Clarence Thomas was made a joke because if I remember correctly, he was caught in a hotel room smoking crack it had some prostitutes in that hotel room, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me verbatim on that story, but the crack cocaine was for sure something that he got caught with. You know what I mean? He became a laughing stock for years. He became a joke for years. You know what I mean? And so the thing about it is, he knows what it's like to go through those struggles. He knows what it's like, you know what I'm saying, to be oppressed. But because he got a little bit of money, you know what I'm saying, he got him a little bit of power in Esau's kingdom, he allowed that gift to destroy his heart. You see what I'm saying? And so that's why the truth is so important. The truth is so important because it gives you the strength and the courage to not turn into a Clarence Thomas. You see what I'm saying? The truth gives you the strength and the courage to not be like TD Jakes or Creflo Dollar. You see what I'm saying? The truth gives you the strength and the courage to say, man, I'm not doing no more drugs. I'm not selling no more drugs. I'm not using no more drugs. You know what I mean? I'm not going to no more strip clubs. I'm not doing any of that. You get what I'm saying? That's what the truth does. You know what I mean? So again, that's why it's so important to like, share, and subscribe to these classes. You get what I'm saying? Um, the topic for tonight's class is don't let the world turn you into a whore. This is the second part of the class that I did a couple weeks ago. I didn't get to finish it last week. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna finish it up today, right? And it's important. I mean, every day topics like this, breakdowns like this get more and more important. Because what are we starting to see more and more because of social media, because of the internet? You know what I'm saying? Because of cable. What are we starting to see more and more and more? This goes pretty much hand in hand with the LGB lifestyle. What's going hand in hand with the LGB lifestyle? Who knows? What's running rampant just as much as the LGBT lifestyle or community? All right, for time's sake, I'm gonna give it to y'all. Right, the thing that's running rampant with the LGB lifestyle, right? That's true, but bring me home. You're on it. You're on it by saying out of order men and women. You're right, but give me take me home to what I'm asking though. But you're right. The killing of black and brown people, that's up there as well. Being a whore and celebrating living the life of a whore and whores being put on a pedestal is running. I don't like using the term neck and neck no more. So I don't want to say that, but it's right there. It's like 1 and 1A. The sister said Jezebel's spirit is out there. You're absolutely that. Listen, that's the thing. You know what I mean? That spirit of a whore, that spirit of a harlot, as the Bible refers to as a harlot. You get what I'm saying? Not only is it being embraced, but it's being celebrated. You get my point? And the thing about it is before, and I'm gonna lay it down even more flatter when I actually go into the breakdown. Right? We're gonna go into Proverbs the 7th chapter, right? But the thing about it is, I want to pivot back to the LGB real quick, because the thing about the LGB is, right. And I didn't get to speak on this last week, so y'all bear with me. I know Juneteenth was a couple weeks ago, and the reason why I'm speaking on this is because to a lot of our people, Juneteenth is a huge deal. Juneteenth is something that everyone looks well, not everyone in our us as a nation, we look forward to Juneteenth. We break out the Black Power T-shirts, we break out the, you know what I'm saying, we've been free since 1865 and all these things. We go out of our way, you know what I'm saying, to show our allegiance to Juneteenth, right? But what did the oppressor do to let you know how little he gives a shit about Juneteenth? And you are 1000% correct. The son of perdition is truly being revealed. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai for that. Because through the son of perdition being revealed, Lord allow our people to start to wake up more and more and more. And through our people waking up more and more and more, we'll start to separate from the ways of the oppressor or the son of perdition. There's two examples that should stand out to you about Juneteenth and how little the oppressor truly cares about Juneteenth. That's one answer right there. You got to share it with the LGBT community. Juneteenth gets celebrated for one day, at the most a weekend. Meanwhile, Juneteenth, not Juneteenth flagging, the Pride Month gets a whole month. How do you know? Because it's called Pride Month. Think about it. And again, we don't participate in none of it. We go. The brothers in the school go to Juneteenth events to do interviews and to pass out flyers. You see what I'm saying? And look at to create content. We don't go because we're celebrating Juneteenth. You get what I'm saying? But what you have to understand is Pride Month has more days in its month than Black History Month. So that lets you know that the alternative lifestyle community is more important than the Black community. Hey, Shalom, y'all about ISUPK thug. What's going on? You get what I'm saying? Like that's just how little you matter in the eyes of the oppressor, right? The other thing that's very important to understand about Juneteenth is that Juneteenth has been trademarked by an oppressor, although Juneteenth has absolutely nothing to do with the oppressor, other than the fact that he's had us oppressed and he still has us oppressed. But for those that believe in Juneteenth and the importance of Juneteenth, the so-called white man took that from you, right? Me and the brothers went to a Juneteenth event, right? I couldn't tell you. I lost count of how many oppressors I seen at that Juneteenth event. There was just one devil. She had on a T-shirt that said "Black Love," and she was an oppressor. Now think about that for a second. She's wearing a T-shirt on Juneteenth that says "Black Love." Does anybody have any idea why she was wearing a shirt that said "Black Love"? Who knows? Because it's a really simple answer. Everybody should know the answer to this question. Why would that devil wearing a T-shirt that said Black Love and was at the Juneteenth event? Everybody should know the answer to this question. And that's a very heavy point. That's so heavy. I got to put this up on the screen. And you're absolutely correct. This is the answer right here, and everyone should have the same answer or something along the lines, because chances are when she goes home and she gets her dirty, stinking behind in that bed, there's some Negro climbing in the bed right behind her. That's the reason why she has quote unquote black men, black love. Everybody knows the answer. The sister, y'all, everybody gets the answer. Everybody's correct that says because she's married to a black man. Everybody's correct. So now, let me ask y'all this, right? So she got black love because she's in a bed with a black man. What's the first thing that's going to come out of her mouth the minute she gets mad at that black man? The chat should be full of answers right here. What's going to happen? What is she going to say when she get mad at that black man? And what's going to happen to that T-shirt that say Black Love on it? What's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen to that T-shirt that says Black Love? And who knows what's the first thing that's going to come out of her mouth when she get mad at her black husband? Listen, yes, he is gonna be called every nigger in the book. Okay, he's gonna be called worthless, lazy, trifling, no good niggas, right? And the sister that said that shirt is being thrown away. Listen, first she gotta burn it. First she gonna set the shirt on fire. Then she's gonna throw it away. You know what I mean? Or she might throw it. She might set it on fire, then throw it in his face. You get my point? So all that black love goes out the window, and her true colors start to show the minute that black man she get mad at that black man. You get my point? But the whole reason why I'm mentioning this is because a day that they gave us, we can't even have it. We're not even allowed to have it. I can't tell you how many oppressors I've seen at that Juneteenth event. And there were Juneteenth events that was all over Vegas, and I'm sure that they was all over Vegas. And one of the most disgusting. The only thing that was worse than seeing oppressors at that event was seeing oppressors holding hands with Negroes because a Negro decided to join himself or herself to an oppressor. Like, do you understand the disrespect? You know what I mean? And again, we know in the truth that Juneteenth is just another day on the calendar. But for our forefathers and foremothers that didn't know the truth, that fought for Juneteenth, it was a spit in their face. You know what I'm saying? You basically just pissed on their grave, basically, by not only joining yourself to an oppressor, but by taking that oppressor to the Juneteenth event with you and walk around in there holding hands and wearing Juneteenth t-shirts. Yeah, I mean, just let that marinate for a second and think about how ridiculous that sounds, right? And so the thing about it is, right? Again, and I'm saying all this because again, it goes back to my favorite scripture, which is a gift destroyed the heart. We really think because they're acknowledging Juneteenth that we're free, right? But in reality, everybody that's in this chat right now, that had to slave on Juneteenth, put a one in the chat. And if you didn't have to slave on Juneteenth, was it because that was your regular day off, or was your slavery closed because of Juneteenth? Put that in the chat as well. Because again, it's supposed to be a recognized holiday now. It's supposed to be a big holiday. You see what I'm saying? Because in reality, Juneteenth means nothing. Go get my goddamn money. That's the mindset of the oppressor. That's why you seen those billboards and stuff. You seen those banners on the side of the freeway, and when it said Juneteenth celebration, them was oppressors that was on that banner. Them wasn't Negroes on those banners. At least the banners that I saw, them wasn't Negroes. Them was oppressors. Now look, ain't nothing but Negroes in this chat, and everybody's putting a one. But Juneteenth was supposed to be about us being free, right? But yet all of us was at the slavery. You see what I'm saying? So if you still don't realize today that Juneteenth was just a little crumb to throw at you, then you're still drinking the Christian Kool-Aid, right? And here's the other thing that you have to understand. More times than not, when the oppressor gives you something, trust and believe he's getting over on you behind your back. So now, while they did the whole Juneteenth celebration and they pushed that whole Juneteenth and black this and black that, that oppressor out there in Florida that murdered that sister and shot that sister through her door and claimed that she was in fear for her life, she's not going to jail. So how's that for your Juneteenth celebration? You know what I'm saying? Make sure while y'all out there wearing Black Love T-shirts, I'm talking about the oppressors. You make sure when you're out there wearing Black Love T-shirts and all that, make sure that same energy that you put into going to the Juneteenth event, put that same energy into your disapproval, you know what I'm saying, of that devil getting off for murdering that sister. You won't see that because deep down inside, they're high-fiving each other from a distance because another devil got off, you know what I'm saying, murdering a Negro, got off. You see what I'm saying? If you're a Negro and you're in Florida and you're not in the truth, you got to be extra, extra careful. Obviously, you got to be careful everywhere you go. But the reason why I mentioned Florida is because there's been multiple shootings involving oppressors killing unarmed black men and women and not going to jail for it. You get what I'm saying? And so this is more proof that we're not free. You get what I'm saying? And the only way that we can really be free is by us coming back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and Christ coming back in putting us in our rightful position. But we got to earn it, though. It's not going to be given to us. We got to earn it. And we're us being hoes and acting like hoes and men out here selling drugs, you know what I'm saying, and buying hoes. We're going to continue to be a laughing stock. You see what I'm saying? We are a laughing stock as a nation. Because they look at us like pimps, thugs, and drug dealers. That's all we are. And twerkers. That's it. You get my point? So that's it on that. If anybody has any questions or comments related to what we were just talking about, you can go ahead and type it in. If you have something off topic, that's fine as well. But before I get into the topic, right, and we're going to be reading from the book of Proverbs, the 7th chapter, right? I know it's been a few days since this happened, and I know the brother is not going to be going to prison. I'm talking about the young brother out there in Chicago, right? Even though that brother's not going to prison, right? And that was self-defense, no doubt about it. What we have to understand is that the levels of destruction that happened in that restaurant. what we have to understand is that woman, due to her lack of discipline and not having a righteous man in her life, caused that man to lose his life and put her son in a position to do something that he's probably never done before, which is take another man's life. And so, even though that brother's not going to jail, that brother has to live with that for the rest of his life. And that sister has to live with that for the rest of her life. And now that brother's family, now y'all know I'm not saying that that brother was right for putting his hands on that sister. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying, however, is that his family lost a brother, lost a husband, lost a father, possibly. You see what I'm saying? A cousin, an uncle, all these things. They have to bury that man. You get what I'm saying? Now that's one less black man on the earth right now. It's a victory for the oppressor, but it's a loss for the black community. And it's just more, it just goes to show you more and more, man, that this black on black crime has to stop. And the solution to the problem of black on black crime is these law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? There's an excellent school out there in Chicago ran by Captain Marquardt. You know what I'm saying? My big brother, who I have the utmost love and respect for. You know what I mean? That brother has taught me so much. He don't like this, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hearing nice things about himself, but facts is facts. And that brother, that is one hell of a brother. And I got so much love and respect for him and that whole team out there. You know what I mean? And if you want to get right, and if you want to end the plagues that are in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? You need to find that. You need to get in contact with Captain Marquardt and Officer DeBar Mountain and Mighty Brothers out there, man, and get your ass in class. You get what I'm saying? Like the sister said, all this over a hot dog. You get what I'm saying? And like the sister said, separation is the only way. And the reason why that comment is important, I'm gonna go ahead and put this up so everybody can see it. The sister saying separation is the only way is so important. And the reason why separation is the only way, the reason why that's so appropriate for what we're talking about is that once we separate from the ideology and the mindset of the oppressor, we will stop hating our own. And once we stop hating our own, we'll start to love our own. And instead of being so quick to pick up a gun or put our hands on each other, we'll talk it out like men. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know how many of y'all watched that video, right? But when that brother hit that sister, there was a couple of people in that restaurant. And while he was putting his hands on that sister, there was a dude that was standing right next to the whole thing. And he got his ass up out the way and he got up out of there. Now I know he was an older cat and he probably couldn't do nothing physically. You know what I mean? He probably couldn't have beat that brother up, probably. But he damn sure could have said something at the minimum to try to stop that and at least put something in that brother's ear. Somebody should have walked over there to that sister and said, "Hey, yo, hey, cool out." You get what I'm saying? Like, hey, you doing too much. You get what I'm saying? That's what should have happened at the minimum. You get what I'm saying? Somebody should have walked up to that sister and got between them two and said, "Hey, yo, this ain't cool, man. We gotta kill all this off, man. We cannot be doing stuff like this." You get what I'm saying? And all it does is continuously feed into the stereotype that niggas don't know nothing but how to be violent. Niggas hate niggas. You always talking about the so-called white man, but what about the black on black crime? You get what I'm saying? And all it does is all it is for them to try to attempt to strengthen their argument. But the thing about it is, once we separate though, and we come together as one, you know what I'm saying? So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans coming together as one, that stuff like that doesn't happen. You get what I'm saying? And the thing that must be understood in the midst of all this, because General Hyman talked about this in class on Monday, and had I been sitting in class, I would have raised my hand. You get my point? When he asked how many of us have been in that situation where some chick was running off at the mouth and she made a phone call and niggas put their capes on, come running to the rescue, ready to do whatever, not factoring in, damn, she's going to be with this cat in 2 weeks. Or I've been in situations to where I've put my cape on, run to the rescue, and when it's getting ready to go down, you know who jumps in the middle and stops everything from happening? The same one who made the phone call. The same one who made the phone call This nigga over here, come over here quick. He doing this, he tripping, he this, and this. And once we show up and we come over there, guess who's the one that's working the hardest to break the whole thing up and who's grabbing on the brothers, trying to stop brothers from doing anything? The same one who made the phone call. You get what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, what we must understand is that whole situation could have and should have been avoided. Who knows how that whole situation could have and should have been avoided? Sister said separation will also allow us to see that the Most High only gave the law, statutes, and commandments to Israel, not the whole earth. Once again, this sister right here is One West, and she is 1000% correct. Amanabath, you are a jewel and a treasure to this nation and to this school for dropping jewels just like that. You know what I mean? That is an excellent point. Once we separate, we'll start to learn these scriptures and we'll come to the realization that the Most High is only dealing with the 12 tribes and that he don't care about nobody else. He never has and he never will. You understand what I'm saying? So now, going back to the question though, how could that whole thing been avoided? Because when it's all said and done, what that brother did was wrong. He should have never put his hands on that sister. That's not even up for discussion. Right? But that man died. That man lost his life. Listen, once again, sometimes, listen, man, and listen, I say this out of love. This is not an attempt to, diss my sisters or none of that. I say this purely out of love, right? Sometimes y'all just need to be quiet. That's all. Just shut the hell up. Like the sister said, she needed to stay in her lane and be quiet. This society, because of loving hip hop and because of Basketball Wives and all these different shows, society has taught us that as a sister or as a female, you can jump in a man's face and you can talk crazy to him and you can emasculate him all you want. And your justification for that is a real nigga ain't gonna put his hands on a woman. You ain't gonna hit me. If you hit me, you a bitch. Don't you put your hands on me. Meanwhile, calling him every bitch and every bitch ass nigga in the book. And then you turn around and tell him that if he puts his hands on you, he's a bitch. But you just got done calling him a bitch ass nigga. So like it for my language, this is for educational purposes only. I'm just trying to make a point. You get what I'm saying? Because these are the vile, disgusting things that women say to men when they get mad. When the sister says stay, that sisters need to stay in their lane, right? You need to stay in your lane and you need to keep your emotions in check. That's part of staying in your lane. And I know there's times where you want to say something so bad, you ready to bite your goddamn tongue off because you just want to say something so bad. You can't get it out fast enough. I understand. But now look at what I gotta say this, and you gonna hear me because I'm a female and I'm a queen and I'm a goddess and I'm this and I'm this and I'm this. Look what I'm not holding back and can't no nigga tell me what to do. Look at what the end result was. You get what I'm saying? And the thing about it is like the sister said, you know what I'm saying? And like I've said in many classes, and what I'm going to continue to say until Christ returns or until I'm not here anymore is there's a big difference between a female and a woman. A woman would have never put herself in that situation. But a female, because she thinks she's a queen and a goddess, she's going to run her mouth. And she's going to cut that man down and she's going to get in that man's face and she's going to challenge that man. You know what I mean? And she's going to think that she's better than that man. And she's going to think that she's bigger and better than that man. And what sisters have to understand is if that brother that you're talking crazy to is not in the UPK, there's a pretty good chance that that brother has little to no discipline whatsoever. And not only that, what you have to factor in is when you get ready to say something to somebody, whether it's two men or two women, What you're not factoring in is what type of day that man or that woman had leading up to them getting to that restaurant or that car wash. So while you honking your horn, talking all crazy, you have no idea what that man or what that woman has been through, and you might be the straw that breaks that camel's back. And now you just started a whole shit storm because you couldn't control yourself. And this is an excellent point as well. What the sister said is same sisters talking most likely obeys orders after slavery. You see what I'm saying? And this is something that's very important that we have to understand. How is it that you can talk all that shit at home and talk all that shit amongst your homegirls and amongst your sisters and your aunties and all that, and then get to work and be the most quietest, most humble, hard working, put your head down and just go straight to work and whatever your boss asks you to do, you do it. You go to lunch and you'll bring your boss back something from wherever you stopped and got food. And if your dude actually stop and get something on the way home, he all kind of worthless niggas. Why can't you do it for yourself? Get it your own self. Would I look like your maid? Meanwhile, you'll bring lunch back for a dude that didn't even ask for it. But because he's your boss, you feel like that's what you have to do. You see what I'm saying? Sisters are like that because of the lack of strong brothers in the world. You get what I'm saying? In order for a sister to get in order, she has to have a brother above her that commands respect. You get my point? Christianity has made the female the most. The Christianity has made the female the most high ISUPK make real women. Listen, and there it is right there. You know what I'm saying? These females out here have the spirit of Christianity all flowing through their bodies. You know what I'm saying? Women are you know what I'm saying? Are followers of Christ. They are servants of the Most High. You see what I'm saying? This is the only way that you can go from being a female to being a woman. You get my point? This is how you come in here to learn as a man. You come in here to learn how to gird up your loins. You get what I'm saying? This is a lot of brothers out here think that they men because they have male parts. You know what I'm saying? You are a male because you were born a male, and you have male parts. But the same way that there's a difference between being a female and being a woman, there's a difference between being a male and being a man. A male is the dude that's running around with the little pink thing hanging out, humping on goddamn fire hydrants because he just want to stick anything that's around. You get my point? A male is the type that will gas a woman up, lay with her, and forget she ever existed. A male is the type of dude that you can't have a conversation with because if you make him too mad, he gonna shoot up the place. That's a male. A man, however, is the type of brother that if you bump into him, you know what I'm saying, and you apologize to that brother, it's over with. That's a man right there. You get what I'm saying? A man is going to take the time to understand and learn this woman and make a righteous, rational decision as to whether or not that they are compatible for one another. That's what a man does. You know what I'm saying? A man does his due diligence before he gets with a woman because he knows chances are that he might have kids with that woman. You get what I'm saying? And so he wants to make sure that he's in those kids' lives. That's what a man looks down the road. A man looks for the bigger picture. A male is going to the club and whoever throw it at him, he gonna take it. He don't know what the hell she got going on. He ain't gonna ask if she got a man, what her situation is, or none of that. But a man, however, he's gonna take the time to find out what the situation is. A man is gonna raise his kids up, even if he has to do it from a distance. A man is gonna say the things that a male does not have the courage to say. You get my point? So a couple scriptures on this, and then we're gonna get into the topic. All right. Let's see. General Muhammad went into James the 3rd chapter on Monday. I don't know if y'all saw Monday's class. It was an excellent class as always. So what I'm gonna do is instead of pulling James, I'll just tell y'all what the scriptures is. I won't read them. because General Muhammad put them on Monday. But it's James chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. All right. So that's one scripture that you can use, you know what I'm saying, as you know what I'm saying, when it comes to watching your mouth and being in control of that tongue, right? But now we're gonna go into the Apocrypha. We're gonna go to the Apocrypha. All right. Give me Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 27 and verse 4. And when women get titles of pastor, bishop, or apostle, they really think they're above the black and brown man. Listen, man, listen, and I'm gonna put this up as well because listen, man, here's the thing about it is a majority of you give most females any kind of title, whether it's a bishop, apostle, pastor, fucking manager, you give a female a title, and more times than not, she's gonna walk around this place, you know what I'm saying, as if she's floating through the air, as if she's above reproach. You can't tell her nothing because she made lead at her slavery. Not even understanding that if shit goes left, she's going to be the first one to go because she was the lead, or she was the supervisor, or she was the manager. Now, am I saying that to say that if a female works hard and she put that work in and she went and got her degree or whatever the case may be, that she shouldn't have the title or position of manager or supervisor? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you are given that title or that position or that pay raise, don't let your head go up with the title or the pay raise. Be the same one that you were that got you to that point. That's all. You can tell you can tell those females, you can tell who they are. Because they walk around with their nose in the air. You see what I'm saying? The one that got a little bit of authority, a little bit of power and all that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times because she, in her mind, she runs everything. She's the manager at the Starbucks that she works at, or the Walmart, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? She's the boss at home because, you know, she tell her nigga to jump and he say how high. You get my point, and things like that. And so you can't tell her nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so because you can't tell her nothing, you know what I mean? She runs her mouth recklessly. And then when something happens, she's the first one to play victim. You get what I'm saying? This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 27 and verse 4. As when one sifteth with a sieve, the refuse or refuse remaineth, so the filth of man in his talk. So now, for those that don't know, a sifter is like that thing that you use to like get rid of the crumbs or the excess. Like it's like a filter basically, right? And so when you use that sifter, right, and you shaking it, right, and everything comes out, right, there's a little bit of residue left over, right? So it's in a refuse remaineth, right? So even though you filter the majority of it out, there's still a little bit left, right? Which would be considered what? Trash. That's why the scriptures call it refuse, right? It says, sow the filth of man in his talk. Meaning what? Sometimes the things that comes out of our mouths is absolutely filthy. But because this is a free country, I can say what I want, because we have that mentality, we really think that it's okay to say the things that we say. Lacking the understanding of sometimes saying something can cause more damage than doing something. You get what I'm saying? Or you can say something that will turn into somebody doing something that they can't take back. That sister out there in Chicago running her mouth, that cost a brother his life. Now, once again, I'm not saying that he should have put his hands on her. I would never say anything like that, because he shouldn't have. Especially because it wasn't self-defense. She didn't swing on him. She didn't put his hands on him. All she did was run her mouth, which she shouldn't have been doing, right? But at the same time, this is what type of filth the mouth can produce. You get what I'm saying? Man, that's heavy. The sister said, words are seeds and something will always grow from them. Man, that is heavy. Yeah, and she damaged a kid that it was her job to protect. You're absolutely correct. is to protect him, but she put him in a position to where his job was to protect her. And so again, that brother's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life. And I pray that both of them, through this ordeal, they end up finding a school in Chicago. Or if they decide to move to another state, they find a school in that state and they get their lives in order. You get my point? Because now they're both damaged goods. You get what I'm saying? So what we have to understand is this mouth of ours can create. Oh, actually, I'm jumping ahead. Let's let the scripture do the talking. All right. So that was Ecclesiastes chapter 27 and verse 4. From there, we're gonna go to Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 2. Let's get Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 2. This is Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. I'm going to read that one more time. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright. So a wise tongue is going to use that tongue for knowledge. And he or she is going to drop wisdom. But the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness, right? The takeaway from this, and I was going to do a whole class on this, but this other thing is something that's just been sitting with me again because of everything that's going on, right? But the thing about it is that it said the tongue of the wise uses knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. So all this can be summed up and wrapped up in a bow simply by saying, watch your goddamn mouth. And I'm not just talking to the sisters out here. I'm talking to the brothers as well. As men, watch what you say, dude. Because what you say might not turn into a fight, or it might not turn into nobody getting shot. But you can damage somebody with the things that you say, and they might not be able to recover from it. Now, am I saying don't tell the truth? That's not what I'm saying. But there's a way that you can tell the truth and speak the truth without being so cruel, without being so mean spirited. You get what I'm saying? And when I say that, I'm not talking about these scriptures. These scriptures are black and white. They are what they are. There's no sugarcoating the scriptures. But when you're talking to somebody, there's a way to get your point across without being scathing. You know what I mean? Without trying to cut them in half. So now, here's the question. Before we get into the topic, this is the question I have for y'all, right? What is the old? Is it? I'm gonna say it's an old Judite saying because I'm a Judite myself, right? But I'm sure this is said amongst all tribes, right? When it comes to your mouth and the things that you say. There's a saying that's real popular amongst our community, right? And the hint that I'm gonna give y'all is there's a saying that goes, you get more bees with honey. You get what I'm saying? So now, with that being the premise, what is something that's said amongst our people a lot when it comes to the things that we say or the things that come out of our mouths? That is very, very important to the topic at hand. What is something that we say? A real popular saying amongst us. You know what I'm saying? I might not have phrased the question in the best way, but I'm not sure how to ask the question without giving it away. But if you came up in a certain era, there's certain things that you heard growing up, you know what I'm saying, that's very relatable to what we're talking about right now. That's a good one. That is a very good one. And that's real talk. Don't let your mouth write a check your ass can't cash. That's true. It's in that neighborhood. If you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. That's right there. Listen, y'all, both of y'all right there on it, right? Y'all right there on it. You are old school, and that's why I rocks with you. You know what I'm saying? We got, you know what I'm saying? We got that old soul, you know what I'm saying? We got that old school spirit, right? We got that old school vibe, right? What y'all saying is true, but it's in that same neighborhood though. I need y'all to bring me home. That's true. You can't take words back. That's very true. Not what I'm looking for, but true. So now let's play off of that though. Now we're talking about words, right? And we're talking about words, and we're talking about things that you say, right? So now there's your premise right there. So now what is the old school saying that still reigns true to this day? I give you I mean this pretty much give y'all the answer. Nah, I can't even say that because it's gonna make it too obvious. I'll give y'all a couple more seconds. I'm gonna give it to y'all, all right? Because I definitely want to get into this topic. That's true, but not what I'm looking for. But it's in everything that y'all saying is in the same neighborhood though. And this is why you have to be careful with the things that come out of your mouth, right? But yeah, a couple more seconds because y'all right there. And if I say it, y'all gonna be like, damn, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was thinking. No, that is not it. I don't remember us saying that. You know what I'm saying? That is not our culture, to my knowledge. I know I didn't grow up saying that. That sounds like some leave it to beaver ass shit right there. But I do know what you're talking about, but that's not it. I tell y'all what, y'all finish the sentence for me. You know what I'm saying? This should drive it home right here. It's not what you say. Everybody should have an answer now. Boom, there it is right there. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I really thought that sisters would understand that because, and probably sisters in the school do not talk to each other like this. But when y'all's in the world, a lot of y'all are guilty of this. Sisters in the world call each other bitch all day long, and it's looked at as a term of endearment. But the minute a dude calls you a bitch, you ready to fight him and every nigga that's with him. Tell me I'm wrong. That's why I threw it out there like that. Because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You get my point? And so now that right there does not relate to what happened in Chicago, but it does relate to the scriptures pertaining to watching what you say and watching how you say things. You could say the same thing, but if you say it one way, it's gonna be interpreted one way. And if you say that same thing, but you say it another way, it'll be interpreted a completely different way. Hey, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. The sister said, I didn't accept it then, and I don't accept it now. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there was one, and there's a lot of sisters that's in the school right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pointing out nobody because I'm not gonna. I don't know for sure who it was, but I mean, we all have aunties and sisters and cousins and all that, and they call each other bitch more than they call each other by their name. And it was okay because that was y'all saying it to each other. But if a dude do it, you know what I'm saying? Now it's time to go to war. You get what I'm saying? But that's it on that. Again, no, it shouldn't be said, you know what I'm saying? Although it's not unlawful to say, but context is everything. How do we know? Ecclesiastes 26 and 25. A shameless woman should be counted as a dog. So if it applies, it applies. You get what I'm saying? So again, to sum all this up, you know what I'm saying? In the spirit of brotherhood, in the spirit of sisterhood, in the spirit of righteousness, you know what I'm saying? Let's be mindful of what we say and how we say things to one another. That's how you build a nation up. You see what I'm saying? So if anyone has any questions or comments pertaining to the topic, you can go ahead and type it in. If not, we're gonna go to Proverbs, the 7th chapter, and we're gonna start at verse 1. All right. I think I got enough time to get through this chapter. 27 verse. Okay. All right, cool. Give y'all a couple seconds, we're gonna get it popping, all right? And again, this topic is a topic that I wanted to finish because you know, whoredom has been around since the beginning of time, but whoredom was not put on a pedestal as it is now. Not as bad. Okay, let me rephrase that. Whoredom was not put on a pedestal on the level that is put on a pedestal now. Whoredom is it was not as accepted then as it is now. Hey, Shalom, sis Yahweh Shamar, Allah Thub Shem Yahweh. Checking in from V8, man. That's what's happening. Most High in Christ. I appreciate you watching. Man, anybody that watch from the East Coast, man, you know what I'm saying? I really appreciate it because I know it's at a minimum, it's a 2-hour time difference. Minimum 2 hours. If you know what I'm saying, Central, East, and all that, 2 to 3 hours easily. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. All right. So again, the reason why this scripture is so important, or this topic is so important, is because there was a time where you were ashamed to be a whore. You knew who you was and you knew what you was, but you didn't want everybody else to know that you were. You understand what I'm saying? But now they actually have a thing called slut shaming. You can't shame me for being a slut. You can't put me down for being a slut. Like, when did that become a thing? You get my point? Like, that's crazy to me that that's actually a thing. Hey, Shalom, Most High in Christ. If you're out there in Texas, man, make sure you check in with Captain Yatazak. You know what I mean? Let that brother know you let the captain know that you in his zone if you're gonna be out there for a while. All right. So now again, there was a time where as a woman, modesty was everything. That was one of your biggest attributes, was your modesty. You get what I'm saying? But nowadays, you actually get shamed for being modest. That's where we are now. Now, if you're a sister in here, you don't give a damn what they say about you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're serving the Lord, and that's your biggest concern. Your biggest concern is not social media's opinions of you because you cover your head or you wear a dress that go down to your ankles or something like that, or because your dress ain't extra form fitting. You're not worried about what people's thoughts are on that. You're worried about being decent and in order. But nowadays, that's what's being talked about. That's what's being laughed at. And being a whore today is being embraced. And so we got to come back to these scriptures, man. We got to stop listening to the pastors. We got to stop listening to Cardi B. We got to stop listening to Corey LeRae and all these other broads out here that's simply making music to make money. Are some of them probably like that in real life? Yeah, they probably are. Matter of fact, y'all heard the video I played about the chick from City Girls. She admitted to being a whore, and she said it with a big ass smile on her face. You know what I mean? But most of them are doing it for the dollars, which technically makes you a whore as well, though. If you're talking about being a whore and you're bragging about being a whore, but you're really not a whore, spiritually you're a whore because you're saying all these things for money. You understand what I'm saying? This is the lines that you didn't cross then has to be totally obliterated today. Listen, man, you've been dropping wisdom throughout this whole class. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't no different. All right. All right, let's get it cracking, man. This is Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 1, right? This is a father dropping jewels or giving game to his son, right? And we are his sons, right? Proverbs are wise sayings, right? And obviously the whole Bible is full of wisdom, right? Proverbs is super, super heavy and is full of jewels. You get my point? So we're going to start at verse 1, all right? It says, my son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Meaning what? Keep them commandments right here in the forefront of your mind. It says, and lay up my commandments with thee. So now a simple person would say, so what do? Do I lay down with the commandments? Am I supposed to go to bed and take the commandments with me? Doesn't mean put the goddamn commandments in your bed. Not literally, right? But figuratively, you should put the commandments in the bed with you, right? Who can tell me what I mean when I say put the commandments in your bed figuratively? Hey, Shalom, sir. ISUPK. What's going on, sir? My big brother, opposite the Walker Bar, man. So much love for that brother. That's a whole nother subject in itself. You know what I mean? That brother know. He know. You know what I'm saying? One of the mightiest priests and officers in this whole school. You know what I'm saying? Again, the question that I have for y'all is, how do you lay up the commandments with you? Yes, to obey the laws, right? Give me an example, because we're talking about the bed, because it says, and lay up my commandments with thee. So for those that mean that will take this literally, how do you lay with the commandments figuratively and physically as well, and spiritually? It's all hand in hand. Let's see. To obey the laws, live by them all day, keep them in your spirit. Everything that y'all said is correct. All right. Here's how you lay the commandments up with you. Having them in the forefront of you at all times, everything that y'all said is correct. But again, because we're talking about laying down and we're talking about laying up, it doesn't literally mean take the book and put it in the bed with you, or put these laws or write them down and put them in the bed with you. But what it is saying is take these laws into your bed, meaning do not defile your bedroom. How do you defile your bedroom? There's multiple answers that you can give. So I'm not looking for anything specific. But again, it said the question I asked was, because someone that's simple would take lay up my commandments, they will take that and say, oh, I have to lay in the bed with the commandments. I have to put the Bible in the bed with me. Right? That's not what it's saying. But how do you lay with the commandments though? Yes, you use the law, and you use the law when it comes to who you sleep with. The sister said anything unlawful. That's true, but specifically anything unlawful in your bedroom. Live by the law, especially when laying with someone. You get my point? That's how it applies to laying. You see what I'm saying? You can't, if you're gonna live by the laws, if you're gonna lay up with the commandments, you cannot have a heathen in your bedroom. You cannot have another man's woman in your bedroom. You cannot have a man other than your husband in your bedroom. This is how you lay up with the commandments. It's not talking about laying down and having all these scriptures, you know what I'm saying, all in the bed, and you put them all in the goddamn pillowcase and you sleep on them. That's not what it's talking about. Because some of y'all take everything literal. That's not what it's talking about. But what it is saying is, because you got these commandments in the forefront of your mind, you're not gonna get that heathen a second look. You're not gonna pay no attention to that heathen. If you're a married woman and that dude go get the jabbing at you, hey, no disrespect, my man, but I got a man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, but no thank you. And you're gonna keep it pushing. Hey, you know, you can go multiple directions when you say you can't have an animal in your bed, but you are correct. You know what I'm saying? You can't have an animal in your bed, meaning you cannot sleep with a dog, and then you cannot sleep with a dog. Y'all take that however y'all want to take it, but she's correct. You get my point? Verse 2, keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. You see what I'm saying? In other words, man, these laws is supposed to be your everything. The law, statute, commandments supposed to be your pride and joy. It's supposed to be your everything. You're supposed to base your whole life around keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Verse 3, and here we go again, right? Verse 3, bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart, right? Fake Jews write the laws down and they put them up under their hat or whatever they call that thing that they wear, where they look real stupid, right? And some people write the laws on their hands. Is that what this is talking about? Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thine heart. Somebody break the scripture down, because somebody's going to take this literally, and somebody's going to probably try to cut their heart open, right? Because they think that this is talking about your heart. They're going to write the laws on their fingers, and they're going to cut their heart open. They're going to try to smear it across their heart. Sad, but in some cases, you just never know, because there's some people that truly believe that they are in love with Jesus and that they got a close personal relationship with Jesus. And if I want to be closer to Jesus, I gotta put these laws in my chest. Yes, that is what it's talking about. Keep them in your mind at all times, right? When it says bind them upon thy fingers, right? What that's talking about is in everything that you do, right? Meaning what? Exactly. It's talking about your mind, keeping it in your mind, right? So when it talks about bind them upon thy fingers, meaning what? Do not use your fingers to do evil, is what it's talking about. Do not use your hands for an evil deed. If you have the laws on your fingers, if you write them upon thy fingers, you will not use your fingers to commit any sins. That's what this is talking about. It's really that simple. This is the Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge. You get what I'm saying? Verse 4, say unto wisdom, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, right? Yeah, exactly. No idle hands. You know what I'm saying? No idle hands. On the right hand side is you know what I'm saying? So you're correct, right? And so when it says, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, meaning what? You and wisdom is supposed to be like this. You and understanding is supposed to be like this, right? And if you don't have wisdom or you don't have understanding when it pertains to certain things, what should you do that will show that you do have some wisdom? What should you do? Yes, that's it. Get counsel. Get counsel. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are too prideful to ask for help. Some people are too prideful to say that they don't know something. You dig what I'm saying? Some people are too prideful to say, you know what, I just don't know. I'm not sure. Some people are too prideful to do those things. That is not wisdom. Wisdom is, it's like, sir, do you have a few minutes? I need to holler at you about something. That's wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Having understanding is, I'm reading these scriptures and I'm not understanding it. Let me call someone that's more seasoned than I am, and let me get that wisdom and that understanding, so then that way I can apply it to my daily life and I can teach it to others. You get what I'm saying? This is why there are Officer Thawalga bars and Officer Regalias and Officer Lahabs You know what I mean? Officer Karyashis and Officer Tabawan. I can go on and on and on and on and on. This is why those brothers are in place. Because when you don't know something, you can call these brothers and ask them, and they'll point you in the right direction. Verse 5, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words, right? So now, this strange woman can be twofold, right? What's an example of a strange woman? General Muhammad was talking about this on a Monday as well. He went not this scripture, but when he was talking about somebody asked if Ruth was a Moabite, and he gave the scriptures to show that Ruth wasn't a Moabite, right? And I mean I don't want to say too much more because it's gonna give away the answer to the question, right? That's true. Could be a wicked woman, but not the answer I'm looking for. Verse 4 says, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinsman. Verse 5, that they may keep thee from the strange woman. That's it right there. That's the answer I was looking for. The women that who has no shame, that's true as well. But the answer I was looking for is a non-Israelite. A non-Israelite is a stranger, right? Or someone who doesn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, who has no shame. So y'all were correct. You know what I'm saying? A wicked woman, y'all were correct, but the answer I was looking for was a non-Israelite, right? It says, from the stranger which flattereth with her words, right? Who do we know in the Bible that was a stranger that flattereth with her words? Who was that? I'm looking for one answer specifically. Who was the stranger who flattereth with her words? Who knows? Not what I'm looking for, but I know why you went there. Who got it? Yeah, a couple of seconds. I'm gonna have to give it to y'all. All right, for time's sake. This is a heavy, heavy chapter, and I really don't want to have to carry this in the next week. So who knows? Who am I talking about? Some of y'all might have forgotten, or it's been a while. All right. So I'm gonna give it to y'all. Unless it comes through the chat right now, I'm gonna give it to y'all. And I know you're gonna be like, damn, when I give you this answer. All right. The answer is Delilah. Everybody knows about the story of Samson and Delilah, right? She was a strange woman who flattered with her words. You get what I'm saying? And she was able to, that's it. She was able to, it's like, that might have came in on a delay, but you are correct if you said Delilah. Anybody that said Delilah, that's correct, right? So now you got to be careful. You got to use your wisdom. You got to use your understanding, and you need these scriptures to give you the strength to turn down these strange women. And the thing about it is, once you learn that you're an Israelite, and once you learn the laws, statutes, and commandments, and one of those laws is to not sleep with any woman outside of your nation, right? Once you learn that and you say, damn, I didn't know that before, I'm going to stand on that now because I now know the law. You have no idea how many strange women are going to start throwing themselves at you. And you got to be strong enough to say, hey, nah, I'm good, shorty. Hey, thank you, but no thank you. You got to be strong enough to do that. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, she will flatter you with her words, and next thing you know what I'm saying, you'll be butt naked on the side of the freeway some goddamn where. Figuratively, and in some cases, literally, right? Yes, he did. He thought, man, for time. I just give you this real quick. He thought that his strength was in his hair, not having the understanding that his strength came from the Most High. You get my point? He lost his strength because he gave his strength over to that woman. You get my point? And that's why brothers have to be careful, because you can give your strength over to a woman and she be of the 12 tribes. So you have to be careful as a man when you out here moving around. You get what I'm saying? Verse 6. For at the window of my house I looked through my casement, and beheld among the simple ones, I discerned among the youths a young man void of understanding. Verse 8. Passing through the street near her corner, he went the way to her house. Verse 9. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. Verse 10. And behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtile of heart. Right? Yes, absolutely correct. And strange men. You know what I'm saying? You sisters have to be aware and have to avoid strange men as well. Yes, his strength was in the Most High being with him. When he sinned against the Most High was no longer with him. That's why in the end, he prayed to the Most High, and the Most High gave him his strength back. You got to remember, his hair didn't grow back when he ended up destroying all his enemies. That's not what happened. He was able to do that through the strength in the spirit of the Most High, which, if I could sidebar real quick, and I'm glad that you asked that, right? This is what we have to understand. Through the spirit of the Most High, and that faith in Christ and following Christ and being loyal to Christ, there's nothing that we wouldn't be able to accomplish in time. Now, when I say, I do not mean overnight. You get my point? There's no pill that you can take in them just like that. You know what I'm saying? You strong enough, you lifting up goddamn transmissions and all that. You know what I mean? Or you take a pill and now you understand the whole Bible and know every breakdown. It's not like that, right? You take a pill, you know what I'm saying, and now you just you what's that movie called, Limitless? I think it's called Limitless. And you take a pill, and next thing you know, you're just the smartest person on the goddamn planet. It does not work that way. You get what I'm saying? But over time, through your obedience to the Most High, in following and serving Christ, over time, the things that you didn't think that you could accomplish, you'll start to begin to accomplish. Right? And so now, verse 10 says, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot and subtle of heart. Why is that so important? Who can break down the importance of verse 10? Because this is very, very, very important. What did that woman know about that man or that young man? And this is something that every female knows. For time's sake, I'm gonna have to give it to y'all because I still got a few verses to cover. That's it right there. Good answer. That's what I was looking for. Right? He would lust after the way she looks. That's why she dressed like that, because she knew in order to get his attention, she had to dress like a harlot because we love harlots, right? She attracted him with her BBL. And you know what? They wasn't called BBLs back then, but they was doing something back then. This ain't nothing new. So you're that's funny, but you're right. You get what I'm saying? And so with this scripture right here, here's the question that I have for y'all, right? What would make a female stop dressing like a harlot? What would it take in order for our sisters to stop dressing like harlots and acting like hoes and conducting themselves like hoes? What must happen? This right here is perfect. This scripture right here is perfect. Who knows? Yes, y'all are correct. Well, I mean, that's an excellent answer. The sister said getting a husband in the ISUPK. That is the best answer of all, right? All the way from VA with the answer, right? So now here's the thing, though, right? Everything that y'all saying is correct. Righteous men is a good answer as well, right? The answer that I like, right, outside of getting a husband in the school, when brothers stop paying for and accepting hoes, that's what it's gonna take. Because the thing about it is, no matter how many songs Coyle Ray makes, because she has a song, by the way, right? And excuse my language ahead of time. I don't know if y'all remember that song from. I think this song comes from the '80s. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, when I think of this song, I think about Problem Child, right? I think it was Problem Child Part Two. When Junior went to no, it might have been the first one. Junior went to that birthday party and he fucked that party up. And that little girl was crying and she was crying. And there was a song that was playing in the background. Who remembered that movie and who remembered the song that was playing? And I'm asking this for a reason. I know I went old school with the Problem Child reference, but I'm doing it for a reason. Y'all rock with me, all right? Who remembers that part of the movie and who remembers the song? No? Who remembers? This song was popular as hell, but I only remember this song from this movie because man, listen, man, Junior was my man's little bad little shit, man. I would have, man, listen. Anyway, I digress because that little shit would have, man. Anyway, who remembers that movie? Because if you remember the movie, then you remember the song. Oh no, I'm not doing that. If I had a little bit more, if I had a little bit of drink in my system, you probably would get me to do it, but I'm not doing it. That's funny. Nah, man, nah. She want me to sing the chorus. Nice try though, sis. Even though you watching from the East Coast, and I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I don't appreciate it that much. That's the answer right there. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna sing it. Y'all not gonna give me the sing up in here, all right? But that's the song. It's my party, and I cry if I want to. That's it, right? And she cried more. That little devil cried and cried. Boy, she was pissed at Junior, right? But that was the song, right? Well, Coyle Ray has a song using that same chorus and using a beat very similar to that. Excuse my language ahead of time. The chorus in that song goes, "It's my body and I'll fuck who I want to." That's the song. And once I heard that, I turned it off because I couldn't listen no more. Because it's that kind of music that empowers our sisters to have that mentality. It's summertime, so anybody that's been to Vegas know it get real hot out here. And so being hot is an excuse for these broads to walk around with little to nothing on. And songs like that empower them even more, right? On that same Coil Ray CD, right? Which also that song I'm saving that for a little bit farther down in the breakdown, but you are correct, right? But that's the problem though. So all these chicks with these CD covers, even if you go all the way back to Lil Kim, I don't know if y'all remember Lil Kim's first CD. It was called Hardcore, right? And on that CD cover, she held in a bikini and some heels, and she's crouched down or squatted down with her legs wide open. Now, us being 15, 16-year-old boys, we went crazy over this CD cover and over this poster. But knowing what I know now, that was disgusting, evil, and wicked, and she should be ashamed of herself. You get what I'm saying? But the thing about it is, though, again, they know that this is how you get the man, or this is how you get the boy, I should say, or the male. You get what I'm saying? And that's the thing. All she did was convince these females out here. See, I knew I was right because Coil Ray said it. So if Coil Ray said it, that means I can do it. And what we're not understanding is, again, more times than not, they're doing this to make money. They're only doing this to make money. And this is why I've said, and I'll continue to say, listen to the music, but don't listen to the music. Did everybody just pick up what I laid down right now? Listen to the music, but don't listen to the music. And unfortunately, I remember that group as well. I do, unfortunately. I know exactly what you're talking about. There was an HWA and there was a BWA as well, because they was all a play on NWA. So yeah, for a little bit, there was an HWA and there was a BWA. Right? So now, what do I mean when I say listen to the music, but don't listen to the music? What does that mean? That's it right there. I mean, it's really that simple. You can listen to it. You can like the beat. You can dance to it and all that kind of stuff. In modesty, of course. But don't become the song. Don't listen to the song to the point to where it alters your mindset. And if you choose to turn it off, listen, there's no crime in that either. And if that's what you choose to do, hey man, listen, man, that's an honorable thing to do. But what you have to understand is, like the sister said, it's for entertainment purposes only. Even if that's really how they're living, does not mean that's how you should live. Because as a brother or a sister, if you believe that your worth is what's in your pants, then you're worthless. If that's your end all be all is what you can do in the bedroom, then you ain't worth nothing. You only worth something to somebody for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or however long you last, whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? I'm not hip to 85 South, but I definitely like to learn more. And to answer the sister's question, why would you entertain that? Scripture say, "Where there's no law, there's no sin." There's no scripture that say that you can't listen to music or music where they cussing and talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But however, the thing about it is that you can't listen to it and allow it to become you. Don't be one and the same with the music that you're listening to. You get what I'm saying? But again, there's no crime in saying, you know what, I'd rather not listen to anything like that. I'm good. There's nothing wrong with that. The sad part about it is in 2023, pretty much every type of music that's out there is like that. Some are just a little bit more subtle and low key than others. Because if you go back to the 70s and 80s and you listen to the Isley Brothers and you listen to Smokey Robinson and you listen to Al Green and you listen to Minnie Riperton and you listen to Rolls Royce and even though she a white chick, but Tina Marie, you go back and you listen to them. You go back and you listen to SWV, right? You go back and listen to what's that one group that Tiny was in? Escape. Escape had a song called "You're My Little Secret." And you have 15, 16-year-old little high school bitch running around singing that goddamn song. So this type of music is not new today. They're just less subtle with it today than they were back then. Salt and Pepper. They had a song called Push It, and all them bitches had on biker shorts. Like, so let's not, you know what I mean? Like, again, there's no crime in not listening to it. But there's no crime in listening to it as long as you can listen to it, turn it off, and go about your business. You get my point? Every song that's made today outside of the UPK is about breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Every single song. Even the songs where they talk about praise Jesus and I love Jesus and Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. If you listen to General Muhammad's class earlier, he played some gospel music. I'd rather listen to Tupac before I listen to that garbage. You get what I'm saying? Let's get some more. Verse 11, she is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house, right? So now, every sister in this school, if at one point in time you weren't this female, you knew somebody that was just like this. And I definitely remember that song. Listen, Me and Mrs. Jones came out years ago. But go back and listen to that song, Me and Mrs. Jones. We got a thing going on. Are you kidding, man? Listen, I could spend the rest of this class talking about the music and how wicked and evil music is. So the brainwashing that's been going on for a long time. And I rock to Otis Redding for sure. There's no knock on it. And again, please understand me when I say there's no crime in not listening to that music. If you choose to just listen to jazz all day, hey, do your thing. You know what I mean? If you choose to listen to conscious rap all day, hey, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to listen to some MC Light or some old school Salt and Pepper, you get my point. What the other? Roxanne Shante. You get what I'm saying? What's his name? Easy Rock and Rob Bass and all them cats. Man, do your thing. But whatever you're listening to, if it's not on the right hand side, do not allow yourself to be consumed by it. Right? So now, verse 11 says, she is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. What does that mean? What does that mean when it says her feet abide not in her house? She is loud and stubborn. Right? I thought I was old school. She dropped MC Hammer in the chat. Boy. I ain't the only one. And I don't feel as bad. That's funny. Man, that's funny. Because every time I think of MC Hammer, I think about the cartoon, Hammer Man. You know what I'm saying? Man, anyway, listen, we're not going to do the nostalgic thing right now, although that is hilarious. She doesn't know her place as a woman. She doesn't listen or follow corrections. Not in accord with her husband. She's a busybody. Everything that y'all said is absolutely correct. Hey, listen, man, I'm a big fan of old school. I rocks with it. Anybody that know me know, man. In my mind, old school is the best school. You know what I'm saying? But on topic, though, everything that y'all saying is correct. She's not in accord with her husband, right? But if she's a whore, she has many husbands. You get what I'm saying? But the thing about it is she is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. Busybody is old school as well. That's pretty funny, actually. I just thought about that. You're a busybody. That's hella old school and funny. But yet true, because the thing about it is, this doesn't necessarily just limit yourself to literally her feet being all over the place. It's her being in everybody's business, knowing every goddamn thing, and then running back and telling everybody's business. You got some females out here that will act like they listen to your problems and actually care about what it is that you're going through for the sole purpose of getting off the phone with you, calling somebody else, and laughing and talking about you behind your back. That's verse 11 right here. And when you tell her that she shouldn't be blasting nobody's business, she gets loud and she's stubborn. You can't tell me what to do. I can say what I want, and all this other kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? Verse 12. Now is she without, now in the streets, and lieth in wait at every corner. Verse 13. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, verse 14, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently, to seek thy face, and I have found thee. Verse 16, I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt, right? What she's okay, what is she doing right now to this young cat? What is she doing? Who knows what she's doing to this young cat right now? There's a lot of different terms that you can use. There's two terms that come to my mind because I use these terms a lot. But there's two terms that come to mind when I read all this. That's true. She's definitely, you know what I'm saying, propositioning herself, seducing him. That's true. But how would we say that? You're right by saying she's seducing him. You're correct. How else would we say that? For time's sake, I'm gonna give it to y'all, right? But what y'all saying is correct though, right? She is trying to get at him, right? So if she's trying to get at him, that means what? She's spitting game at him. You see what I'm saying? She's enticing him or she's gassing him up, right? The reason why all this is important, right? She's gaming him up to whore herself out, right? And the thing about it is, what we have to understand is when the scripture said there's no new thing under the sun, right? Everything that's going on in these verses that we just read, in the next few verses that we getting ready to read, is being played out today. And the reason why you know that these scriptures are being played out today is because that same Coi Leray is the one behind Because Girls Is Players Too. I didn't know that. I heard the song and I couldn't stand the goddamn song. I was in the store and got stuck in the goddamn store and I was just stuck hearing the damn song. But I can't tell you how disgusted I was with that song. But the thing about it is everybody's heard it. Everybody's heard it. You might not have knew who it was, but everybody's heard that song, right? And that song is being played out in these scriptures right now because Girls Is Players Too. She took an old school Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5 classic where Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5 was when the Furious 5 was talking about the struggle. They were talking about it's like a jungle sometimes that make me wonder how I keep from going under. And they was talking about all the struggles of coming up as a black man in New York. And she took that and turned it into Because Girls Are Players Too. You see what I'm saying? Oh, that's the new saying now. I'm outside instead of hot girl summer. Oh, okay. That must be that's new. I see. Okay. And we're gonna get to what you said as well, but I'll go ahead and read that. She's trying to get him in her bed that her husband paid for while he's at work. And we're gonna and that pretty much is in the scriptures that we getting ready to read. Yeah, she absolutely 1000% took a classic and destroyed it. She trashed the hell out of it. Yeah. Songs like that is why these sisters, these young girls is twerking on TikTok and Instagram and all these other social media outlets, and then they coming up missing. Now, obviously, nobody's saying that that's okay, but that kind of music encourages that kind of behavior. And unfortunately, a 14-year-old girl makes a TikTok wearing biker shorts, twerking all over the goddamn video to songs like that. And there's some 37-year-old dude watching that TikTok over and over and over again, getting pleasure off that 30-second TikTok or however long a TikTok lasts. He's in his room at his computer getting pleasure off that 13, 14-year-old girl. And now he's looking for said 13, 14-year-old girl. and next thing you know, she comes up missing. Now, I don't say this at all lightly, because I don't take this lightly at all. And if you have kids, you should not take what I'm saying lightly at all, because unfortunately, even if it doesn't apply to your household, what I'm saying is still real life, no matter how you slice it. And what I'm saying might be uncomfortable, but however, there's no getting around the fact that it's real life. It is sad. I'm just gonna keep reading, because that's a topic right there that's really hard for me, because again, it's just wrong on so many levels. You know what I mean? It's wrong. It's wrong. And I think that was a couple weeks ago when I read how there's a term for those. What's that term called for those that's in love with young people? Man, I forget that term. But I read it in the class a couple weeks ago. Y'all, somebody put in the chat if y'all know what I'm talking about. But it's basically a term. It's an abbreviation, like some letters, and it basically means that they have an attraction to young girls, and it's sad, it's sick, it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord will deal with them accordingly. You know what I'm saying? You can trust and believe that. All right. Let's get some more. Verse 13. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I read this already. I'll speed through it. I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently, to seek thy face, and I have found thee. Verse 16, I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry and with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Right? MAP. The water says, I appreciate you. MAP is what they're called. And you know what? I'm just gonna keep reading, because I'll get into that whole thing. And again, I there's just no comprehending it. There's no excuse. There's no pass for that. It's just wicked and evil on every level possible. You know what I mean? And as parents, we have to make sure that we go out of our way, you know what I'm saying, to warn our kids against people like that. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the girls, but unfortunately, let me not say unfortunately, it's bad on both sides. Don't just think that the girls is coming up missing, that the girls are the ones, you know what I'm saying, that are being snatched up off the streets. These young boys are getting snatched up off the street as well. It's just not getting talked about. But it's bad either way. All right. Verse 18. Well, verse 17 is heavy too. It says, I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Listen, that right there is 1000% correct. We need to do better as parents. Listen, man, 100 straight like that, right? So now everything that this female is doing is all a trap. She just sprayed all the smell good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know they use cinnamon as smell good, but maybe back then they did, right? Did anybody even spray cinnamon? Like, have any cinnamon flavored? Do they make cinnamon flavored body spray and all that today? I don't know. I'm just asking, but whatever. The bottom line is they used cinnamon back in the day. You get what I'm saying? But like you said, she was setting this cat up, right? Verse 18. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with loves. Verse 19. Verse 19. And for those that don't know what we are, and for those that want to know why we go so hard in the ISUPK, wow. So sad, but yet so true. The bitch too trifling to wash the sheets and wash the blankets. She just covered with a whole bunch of sense to hide the fact that there was somebody else in that bed earlier. And how do you know? Because we're getting ready to read it in Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 19. For the good man is not at home. He is gone on a long journey. This right here is what's being rapped about as we speak. You get what I'm saying? That song, that Coil Ray song that I mentioned earlier, right? It's my body, and I'll have sex with who I want to have sex with. That's the PG version. But we're reading Coil Ray in the Bible right now. We're reading Megan Thee Stallion. We're reading Cardi B. We're reading You're My Little Secret. We're reading all these things in the Bible right now. Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 19 says, for the good man, and this is the crazy thing about it, she called him a good man. For the good man is not at home. He is going on a long journey. So going back to what Amanaba said earlier, right? She's bragging about the nice bed and everything that was paid for with her husband's money. You see what I'm saying? He's at work. He's on a long journey. He might be a soldier, so he might be at war. Or he might be training the soldiers for war. Either way, his money is what pays for that bed. And like the sister said, there's no new thing under the sun. I'm on about you own it tonight. There's no new thing under the sun. So everything that you hear these broads rapping about is right here. She called this man the good man. For the good man is not at home. He is going in a long journey. You get my point? And this is why it's scriptures like this is why when righteous women say, hey, I got a man, I'm not interested. Matter of fact, this brings me to a song, right? There was a song that came out in around 92, 93. Real popular song. Love this song. Well, knowing what I know now, I don't love it, right? Matter of fact, now that I think about it, back then I really didn't like it as well because I don't know who the chick was in that song, but her voice was annoying as hell. And y'all can go back and listen to it if y'all want to, but her voice was so goddamn annoying, right? But I believe this cat was a one-hit wonder because I don't remember hearing anything else from this cat. And I see now I'm gonna run over for a few minutes. I got about 8 more verses left. I'll run through these kind of fast, right? Y'all bear with me, right? But there was a song that came out like around 92, 93, and the dude's name was Positive K, right? And I don't remember the actual name of the song. I think it was called I Got a Man. And she was saying, I got a man. And that nigga kept saying, what your man got to do with me? I got a man. I'm not trying to hear that. See, you get my point? So again, this was 30 years ago. And the reason why brothers is out here saying what your man got to do with me, because we just read where she said, for the good man is not at home. He is going on a long journey. You get what I'm saying? And that right there is why brothers will knowingly slide in a married woman's DM. This is why. Because there's some chicks, you're right, they do have the same mentality today. You are absolutely correct. Right? But here's the thing about it is, right? And I'm not saying this is okay at all, right? But pick this up right here when I'm getting ready to lay down, right? A man cannot do anything that a woman does not allow him to do. Think about every movie where there's some chick, more time now it's a Tyler Perry movie, and there's a chick and she's married to this dude, or that's her boyfriend according to the world, and she's with this dude and he's mistreating her, and he's doing all these things, and yet here comes the dark knight on the white horse, and he comes through and he's just so God loving and God fearing, and he's there to cut the grass and to clean the gutters and do all and do all these things, right? And he see her broken and sad and crying and all that, and here he go laying game, right? I can do bad all by myself. See, you know what I'm talking about, right? And so what ends up happening more times than not, she ends up, even though she's still with this dude, she ends up getting with the other dude, right? And every female that's watching the movie at the movie theater or watching it in a living room is cheering her on. That's right, girl. You go, girl. That's right. You deserve better. That's right, girl. Let him have it. And you saying all these things. Meanwhile, her dude is back at home thinking that she at work somewhere, or thinking that she's on doing a girls' night out, or whatever the case may be. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why this cat think it's okay to come to the house or think it's okay to go on dates and stuff like that with her is because the good man, you know what I'm saying, is not at home. He is going on a long journey. Verse 20, he hath taken a bag of money with him and will come home at the day appointed. Verse 21, with her much fair speech, again, with her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him. Verse 22, he goeth after her straightway as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. Right? So if y'all not picking up what's being laid down, she dropped that game on him. She used them flattering words. You know what I'm saying? She used them smooth, kind words. Right? She gassed him up. She gamed him up. And like the scriptures say, like an ox going to the slaughter, this dude went into that woman's bedroom. That's basically what happened. So he committed adultery. He slept with this whore. Verse 23, till a dart strike through his liver, as a bird hasteth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life. Verse 24, hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. In other words, listen up, man. I'm trying to give y'all some game. Let not thine heart decline to her ways, go not astray in her paths. Let me skip up to verse 23 real quick. Make sure that we have an understanding of what's going on here, right? What this is saying is, it's all fun and games until that dart strike you through the liver, or in this case, until the dart strikes him through his liver. What is that dart? That man coming home 2 days early that she thought was going to be on a long journey. He took some money with him. He said he was going out of town to handle some business. You thought he was going to be out of town for a week, but in all actuality, he was actually going out of town for 3 days. And he came home, and he heard that headboard hitting up against that wall, and he like, what the hell is going on? I ain't home. What the hell is this? And he goes upstairs, and he sees some young dude plowing his woman, and he put a dart right through that man's liver. Get what I'm saying? A few minutes of pleasure can cost you your whole life. And this goes both ways, right? Meaning this, you brothers out here that's not taking the time to find out if the woman that you're interested in has a man, and you let her gas you up, and you go over to her house because she don't have a dude, and that dude come home and he put a bullet in your head and put a bullet in her head. The scriptures say, for the wages of sin is death. And you just gave yourself a death sentence by sleeping with that woman. Or let's just say her dude don't come home, but she's pregnant by her dude, but she wants to have a kid with you because you got money. So she lays with you after she done laid with him, and she tells you that she's pregnant with your child. And now you stuck paying for a child that's not even yours. And then you don't find out until that boy turned 18. And you on Maury Povich. Maury Povich gonna be an old shriveled up ass prune walking with a goddamn cane, and he's gonna come out and say, Jeff, you are not the father. With the oxygen and shit going up in his nose. And that's what's going to happen. And you're going to get up and you're going to throw the chair at the broad, and you're going to try to attack the broad, and her dude going to come out the stands, and he going to whoop your ass. And you're going to get your ass whooped on TV. And here come Maury, hey, y'all, cut that out. And meanwhile, he's clapping because you're giving him more ratings. Yes, Maury Povich will be doing this show on his deathbed. Yes, he will. Believe that. As long as you stupid ass niggas keep going on his show and making him money, he's going to keep doing that show. As a married woman or a married female, you should never allow any man to speak ill of your husband. If you need to cry, cry on your husband's shoulder, not your male coworker. Let me tell you something. That male coworker is the cause of many divorces or many episodes of Maury. Well, that too old school? I said Maury. Is there somebody new that does that? Because that's all I know. Because Springer faggot ass is dead. So all I know is Maury now. So if it's somebody else out there, y'all let me know. She gonna run off the stage to the back like she didn't know. Yeah, and listen, and that's part of the game. That's part of the game that females be running. And suck ass niggas fall for it all day long. And no one ever thinks about the child that is caught in that war. Boom, there it is. Everything that's being said right now is all jewels. Everybody gets it. Oh, the Steve Wilkos, the water, sir. I appreciate you. Right, you're correct. Right, let's finish these last couple of scriptures so I can wrap this class up. Verse 24. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth. Verse 25. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her paths. In other words, man, listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to the wisdom that I'm giving you, and do not let her gas you up. I don't care how good she look. I don't care how good she smell, and I don't care how much money she says she has. Do not let her gas you up. Do not let her be. Don't let her turn you into her rebound or her bounce back nigga. Because she found some girl's number in her dude's phone because she was going through her phone, going through his phone, which she had no business doing, by the way. But she decided to go through his phone. She seen some chick's number, right? She called the number and started, and then they going back and forth. They caused this big old commotion. And she said, okay, I'm going to get this nigga back. Since he out here and he's sleeping with this bar right here, okay, well, I'm going to go to the club and I'm going to find the most hoish dress I can find. And I'm going to go in the club and I'm going to let some little young nigga finger me in the club. And then I'm going to let him bring me back home. And I'm going to let him sleep with me in our house, in our bed. Don't be that brother. Do not be that sucker. Do not allow yourself to get caught up in some wicked, evil love triangle where you mess around and lose your life. Because you can get beat into a coma and be alive and be dead at the same time. Or you can wake up out that coma and have permanent brain damage. And now because you got brain damage, because your brain don't work, other things don't work. And for a man, that's death in itself. You get what I'm saying? Imagine being 25 years old, you in the quote unquote prime of your life, where you think you came goddamn ding-a-lang and you just swinging dick. It's like it. You just swinging pole all over the goddamn place. Didn't mean to say that, y'all. Slack you. You swing a pole all over the goddamn place, and you swing that pole in the wrong woman, and that man beat you, you know what I'm saying, to the point to where now you got goddamn brain damage, and now it don't work no more. So now you ain't swinging nothing. And that broad that you was with, that you thought loved you to death and thought was going to hold you down, she left you because your brain damage and things don't work, and she went back to the other dude. That's what can happen to you if you don't take heed to this class. Queen of the Gossip is the Kardashian. Take it. Listen, man. Listen. Don't listen. I'd run another 30 minutes talking about them nasty, disgusting whores. So I'm not even gonna go there. But you're right though. You are absolutely correct. And that woman that's moved on to the next didn't even stick around to care for you. You know what I'm saying? Once she found out you had permanent brain damage and that things wasn't gonna be working, she was done with you. She listen. She got a new name, new number, new address, new everything. Everything is new on her except that thing down there. That thing is old, shriveled up, and used up, and ain't no good. But she gonna gas up another cat, and she gonna do the same thing to him, unless you take heed to the words that's in these scriptures. And the proof, we getting ready to read it right here in verse 26 and 27. This is Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 26. For she has cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her. So now, for anybody that's watching this class that don't believe in the Bible, for anybody that's watching this class that think I'm just up here, just sitting up here talking and running my mouth and trying to be funny and trying to say something clever, everything that I just said, we're reading it right now in the Bible. Say my book. I didn't write this book. Well, it's my book because I'm an Israelite, but it's not my book, meaning I didn't write it. And you can go back and you can read this chapter for yourself. Yeah, she got a she got a hella body count. You know what I'm saying? That's the new thing right now, right? Body count. Let me tell you something. Listen, some of y'all got a body count out here, right? And y'all could push that little button that resets the odometer when you get when you fill up your tank with gas, and you're able to reset the odometer to see how many miles you get before you need gas again. Not happening. It's not gonna happen. I'm sorry to disappoint y'all. But listen, man, you cannot turn back the clock. I don't give a damn how many face surgeries you have. I don't give a damn how many tummy tucks you get in breast lifts, in nose jobs, and all that other kind of things. You can fix all those things, you know what I'm saying? But you can't fix the broken down, beat up, you know what I'm saying, back area. All right. Middle area, whatever you want to call it. There's no repairing that. Okay. That thing is like a rubber band that's been stretched as from one end of the earth to the other. There is no snapback. You know what I'm saying? And we reading about it. Verse 26 says, "For she hath cast down many wounded, yea, many strong men have been slain by her." It didn't say one or two. It didn't say a couple. It says many strong men have been slain by her. And listen, I like that right there. That's real talk. Pretty on the outside, but ugly on the inside. You get what I'm saying? Verse 27. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Right? Y'all have to understand just how heavy this chapter is. This chapter is so heavy, and you cannot emphasize the importance of this chapter enough. It says her house is the way to hell, right? What is an example of it being a way to hell? I gave one earlier. She's pregnant already, but she's going to tell you that she's pregnant by you. And because you believed all the lies and all the game and let her gas you up, you're thinking that she's the only one, that you're the only one. Not knowing she done said the same thing to two other dudes as well. So now she getting money for diapers, for formula, for onesies, for goddamn what's them little shoes? What's them little shoes with the hard bottoms on it? What's those called? Damn, I can't think of them right now. Them white shoes with the brown bottom, man. Them old school shoes, them walking shoes. Either way, she getting those from 3 different dudes. And she didn't game job and gas job in a way to where she can make it to where don't neither one of y'all never run into each other. That's how good she is. Y'all all dropping off gifts, and she lining all 3 of y'all telling them that they from different family members. They from different family members, all right. Daddy 1, Daddy 2, and Daddy 3. You get what I'm saying? And that's hell. That's going down to the chambers of death. You laying with that woman is like laying with death, basically. You're pretty much setting yourself up for death. And again, it doesn't even necessarily have to mean physically. But can you imagine dreading the day that you have to go over there and see your child that you don't even know is not yours? Can you imagine that? This is what happens when you don't take heed to the wise sayings in the game that's being laid down in the book of Proverbs. You know what I mean? Yeah, listen, I could go another, hour just responding to all the comments in the chat because everything that y'all saying is 1000% correct and heavy as hell. And I appreciate y'all's participation and y'all rocking with me. Salakia for running over the time. I just really wanted to get this topic. I wanted to finish this topic because again, some of the things I said may have sounded funny and may have came off like, and all that kind of stuff. But there's this chapter, this topic in the situation that's going on with our brothers and sisters is no laughing matter whatsoever. You get what I'm saying? Our sisters must stop being whores. You must stop projecting yourself as if you're a whore. You know what I'm saying? and come clean yourself up, pick yourself up out the dirt, shake the dust up off of you, and become the woman that the Lord called you to be. And in order to do that, you know what I'm saying, it's time for these spineless men to get their spines back, pick themselves up out the dirt, pick themselves up out that low state, stop loving these hoes, stop chasing these hoes, stop celebrating these hoes, and call them what they are. Because it means nothing to call a woman a whore and then still sleep with that same whore. You get my point? It means nothing. If you're out here making music about and clowning hoes, but you're married to a hoe like Kanye was, you're a joke. You see what I'm saying? Us as men, we must get our spine back. We must gird up our loins like the men that we're supposed to be, and we must put on the full armor of the Most High. And that full armor is the law, statutes, and commandments. And with that full armor, it will give you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and it'll give you the courage to stand up to that woman and let her know that when she's in the wrong, and let her know that that's what it is, and stand on it. You see what I'm saying? The Lord is a man of war, and so he requires you to be a man of war. And you sisters out there, you sisters have to gird up your loins as well, but in a different way. Meaning what? Your spirit has to be that of a princess and a daughter of Zion, the way Sarah's was, the way Rebecca's was. You see what I'm saying? The way Rachel's was, the way Leah's was. You get my point? And so this is how we clean up a nation, and this is how we build a nation. And this is how we right all those wrongs that are plaguing us as a nation. You know what I mean? Hey, the water for the kind words. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Lord, you know what I'm saying? Lord allow next week, man, we'll have a whole nother topic. You know what I'm saying? We'll get into a couple different things. To the sister, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, because the same way that you change your life, the same way that every brother and sister that's listening to this class right now, we all change our lives, and we're all fighting to be better versions of ourselves, which is absolutely mandatory. You have to continue to fight to be a better version of yourself. You cannot get so comfortable to the point to where you kick your feet up and say, oh, I got it all figured out now, I'm good. No, you have to continue to fight. You have to continue to sharpen yourself. You have to continue to sharpen the sword. You have to continue to fight, you know what I'm saying, to be a better version of yourself. And you cannot stop fighting until Christ returns. Until then, you know what I'm saying, you have to stay strong, you have to stand tall, and you have to stand on these laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? One last precept, I'm gonna paraphrase it. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say, he that endured to the end shall be saved. And that's what it is. You can't endure for a day, you can't endure for an hour, you can't endure for 2 days. The scriptures say, he that endured to the end, you know what I'm saying, shall be saved. You understand? And that's what it requires in order to build ourselves up and go back and change from going from being a male to being a man. And this is what's required to go from being a female to a woman. The only way to learn how to be a man and conduct yourself like a man, and the only way to conduct yourself as a woman and carry yourself as a woman and be representatives and reflections of the Most High in Christ is by coming into the ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana. You understand? And with that, we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. This has been a Las Vegas Scripture Breakdown class. You know what I'm saying? Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have class in the Las Vegas area from 7 to 9 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe, please, if you could. ISUPK Las Vegas on Facebook, ISUPK Nevada on YouTube, and ISUPK Las Vegas on TikTok. Again, slack at y'all for running over the time. You know what I'm saying? I pray next week, you know what I'm saying, I'll try to do a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, better with the time. But Lord allow, I'll see y'all brothers and sisters next week. With that, Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshua Brakathum to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alathun Ba'Shem Yahshua to the sisters. Shalom, Israel. The water says, I appreciate you.